So if you would like that handy dandy type of commercial, like I was sharing with Stan Schmidt, you know what? Sponsor the Coach Show because we know, because we're coaches and we said it. Anyway, I've been talking crap and giving this young Dee Dee and I grief. I don't know, for 2 weeks. He had to ask his wifey, hey, can I come out and play? Ben Fry did the same thing. Hopefully we get him next week. But can we come play and talk some sports and stuff? And anyway, I do want to throw out there, Mama Doherty is always the first in the house. So, made it home in time. That's awesome. Hey, the more hearts that we get, the more exposure. Also, I said I was, voting closed, so you can't vote anymore. I know the link's been shared, I don't know, 3,432 times. But I'm going to open my phone just to double check, Coach Doherty, because I want to make sure that we gave everybody a chance right at the bitter end, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and I got to scroll down because I think I posted, I don't know, 15,000 things over the week. So, okay, so James Fuller wins, Ren Watson in second, Kat DePrima in third. So those are our top three for Sportsman of the Week. So James Fuller will be the Sportsman of the Week. We're working on some type of a sponsorship where maybe we could give them, I don't know, a gift card to Taco Bell or something, because that'll clean you out fairly quick, right, coaches?
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't had it in a long time. I don't know.
Hey, Taco Bell story. It's always good when you talk about these things. Anyway, Keokuk, is not good at a lot of things, but their Taco Bell's okay. So I go down there. Did I say that out loud? We are North Lee County, Iowa, right? It is what it is. It's my show, and it's like my party. I'll cry if I freaking want to. But anyway, I go down there, and anyway, they threw in an extra burrito, Derek, and and I had to take an extra trip to the restroom at Walmart while I was waiting on the wife. So, but it's quick.
They won your heart right away, didn't they?
Dude, I asked Coach Weichert about it, and it's like quick, man. It's like boom, done, right? Anyway, also, I want to celebrate here before we start harassing Helling. The other night we had 25,000 views in one single day. That's a record. It was 60,000 for a week here earlier. It's now bumped up to 85,000, and we couldn't do it without all the community members, parents, stuff like that. So excited. We're growing. I'll give a shout out to Colton Vermazen. He spent 6.5 hours yesterday. I was just, in the basement because I was kind of sick, on Friday, but he spent 6.5 hours, man, filming and giving us, our Bloodhounds, memories to give, you know what I'm saying? So Keith Helling, without further ado, let's kind of dig into your off season right now. You're obviously doing other things, right?
Oh yeah. What kind of things are you thinking about? Like family, or are you talking about?
Dude, I gave you a freaking list to read and questions and crap, and you come in here not even prepared, Coach Doherty. Good God, no! I'm just.
Hey, yeah, that's Coach Helling, man. He just comes in and goes for it. Love it.
My favorite Coach Helling moment was last year when I was, it was last spring. I was coaching and I had one of his track members over there, and he kind of yelled at me, Derek. It's that
he's a mean guy.
You deserved it.
Mean guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, in all reality, let's talk, about, because we have a listenership that's not currently in the community. So share what you do on a day-to-day basis, and then on a season-by-season basis.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm a husband and father. I've been married for maybe coming up to 9 years.
Don't screw it up.
10 years.
This is live, man.
I didn't forget, honey. And then we are on our 5th child. Our oldest is going to be 8 in what's today's date? The 6th, 7th. So in about
7th,
12 days.
6 or 7.
6, 7.
You know. The more we do it, the more our students are not doing it.
That's right. Yeah, because it once was cool, but now when we do it, it's not that cool. So yeah, that's my home life here. I'm a health teacher for 7th and 8th grade, and I coach track, boys high school track. I'm the head coach, and then I'm also an assistant for football.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think you do a great job at all of it, but this is from Owen Huffman. It's a comment here, and Coach Doherty.
Take it off now. Block him.
All right. He's now booted from the studio. No. Hey, in reality, it was a great freaking game.
Yeah.
It was.
And obviously we know that now they're 1-2, and we know in our hearts, guys, who's really going to be in the national title game. And that's going to be Oklahoma versus Miami. Okay. I'm just, you heard it here first, man.
Oh, why
Don't
not
put any
JMU?
money on that.
JMU. They're obviously top 12. I mean, they made it in, right?
Helling, you screwed up. You just opened the can of worms here. And, Shannon in the background is going to say, what the hell are you guys talking about? Notre Dame didn't get in, okay?
I don't understand the CFP at all anymore. I thought my whole time, I thought top 12, always top 12. Now we're letting pretty much anyone in, it seems like.
Derek, I want to pick your brain here. I mean, James Madison over Notre Dame. Is it because James Madison's going to bring more money into the Cinderella story, or what the hell?
I don't know. It's crazy to me. There's no way that they bring more money, in my opinion. I mean, Notre Dame is rich traditionally and travel well. They're always in the hunt. Man, I don't like what they did opting out of a bowl game. But yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that they're not in.
What did you think about Iowa State opting out, after they obviously, lost their coach?
I don't follow them as well. I saw some rumors that it was because of injuries and such, but I don't know. I just think that you're taking away from kids, and especially those guys that aren't going to play anymore after this.
And when I heard that too, they have 100 to 120 players. Jeez, Mike.
He just blacked out. He blacked out, Coach Doherty. I don't know what the heck.
I'm going to sit over here.
Oh, so, you're fine.
They got 100 and 120 players on the team. And then they say, we got all these injuries. I'm like, okay. All of a sudden have all these injuries at the end of the season, right at the last game. And, I mean, Wisconsin in 2013, Brett Bielema left after they won the Big Ten title. And then they're going to the Rose Bowl. He left. And then so here comes Barry Alvarez. He has to take over. And I just thought, there's the same similar situation. But I think that, what Iowa State did sucks. And same with Notre Dame. But I guess they have the right to. But
well, here's kind of my insight on this, Didi, and kind of chime in. The Philadelphia Eagles head coach actually was a roommate with Coach Campbell, so I'm sure that he had some pull to come to Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, I love Coach Campbell. I know in this state you're either Iowa State. Man, I'd play for Coach Campbell. Just listening to him talk, I got to listen to him live. And I tell the story all the time. He comes in, it wasn't a rah-rah speech. He was just talking, and you could tell how passionate he was. And I was ready to climb up on the roof and eat the shingles off the place. I mean, he had me ready to go, and he wasn't even trying. I just think that he's a great man. It's a great opportunity for him.
I do have to throw this out there, and Owen Huffman. It's nothing against Kirk, but I was at that same conference, and I thought the Iowa State head coach had a better, definitely more exciting, right? Speech, you know.
Yeah, different guys. I mean, Kirk is awesome. I love his loyalty, especially with everything that we're seeing right now, and people leaving in the middle of big moments. I guess, like I'm a huge Lane Kiffin fan. Everybody knows that. I think that the whole situation just sucks. Not that he's leaving. I mean, obviously LSU is a huge job and something that he wanted, but for for him to be able to make that decision and to have to make that decision in the middle of what they're doing, the whole college football landscape is screwed up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, it would be like this, man. So all of a sudden, you're making like $800,000 a year at Fort Madison, right? That's what you're
Oh, heck
making.
yeah.
And then tomorrow, Pella shows up and says, Keith, we're going to give you $10 million. I don't
He'd
know what
stay at Fort
happened
Madison.
upstairs, but that was a big boom. What's that?
He'd stay at Fort Madison.
Yeah, my thing is I like my relationships, and I'm a huge proponent on more of staying close to family and the relationships I've built with the people, because unless everybody goes with me to Pella, then I'm staying.
Yeah.
Like I my heart is here, and it's been this way forever. It's just trying to get myself set up and my foot in the door, really. I honestly didn't know I was going to come back here. I thought I was going to be going all over across the United States. I had a couple of big moments that could have happened for my family and I. But it came down to it. My wife didn't want to leave. And so then once we found out we were having a child, I was like, okay, I got to figure this
Now
out.
5?
Yeah, now we're having 5. But our first one, we were just like, I didn't have a job. I was looking everywhere, and we lived in a very small rural town, literally in the middle of nowhere. And I told my wife, I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to school. And I got my teaching license, and that took another 2.5 years. And I already had a master's degree. And so when I got my teaching license back, I convinced her. I was like, hey, where we live, there's literally 30 jobs that I could look for. But if we move back to Fort Madison, because of the amount of schools and me having Iowa and Illinois license, I counted there would have been 300 jobs. And that's within like a 30-minute drive. And so she's like, okay. So we moved back, and I got my first opportunity at Burlington. And that's actually when you and I were going to work together, but then the job opened up at Burlington, and I had to switch gears and tell you, no, I can't coach with you. And so I had to work up in Burlington. I was there for 2 years, and that's when the position opened up here.
Can you enlighten the listenership on what it's like working? I mean, I can talk till I'm blue in the face all day long, and we'll get to your questions, guys, and comments here in just a little bit. But what was it like going from like a Burlington culture, or even a Central League culture, to a Fort Madison culture?
So I could say from what I grew up going to Central Lee, it was pretty much, there was not a lot of Well, there was not very much or very little diversity at the time, and um, everybody was pretty much part of the same culture, same groups. There wasn't very much uh, different from that, but I was very fortunate to experience a time where I had a lot of positive friends, and the families that I grew up with were very kind and very supportive with all the activities. Um, and I had, and I don't know, I don't have any bad stories about the coaches that I had or teachers that I had. Like they were all just wonderful. Um, and so it was just a weird time for me. I think maybe I'm hoping that it's not weird. I'm hoping that it's like this for all students. But um, when I was in high school, that's when I knew I was like, I got to take this opportunity. And that's when, moments came up and I just jumped at it. And it came from a lot came from friends and then my parents. And so but then when I went and taught at Burlington, you know, I started my teaching career right when COVID started. It was actually, I take that back. It was after, so spring of what, was it spring of 2020 was when it started? And then
It was it was like a couple months after Kobe Bryant passed away, right?
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah. So then I started my teaching at Burlington in the fall. And that was, I mean, I never really had a normal experience of what Burlington is truly like. And I think you could say that for every teacher who started their teaching career at any school right when COVID started. That was just, it was chaotic. I was teaching on the computer. I was teaching another class live. And then I had a whole nother class where it was hybrid. There was a computer in front of me, and then I had students in front of me in class. So when I started teaching at Burlington, it was just not normal for anybody. And it was tough. It was really tough because we were teaching 7th and 8th graders. They had to stay in one room. They weren't allowed to leave. And that's just because of the COVID restrictions. And so kids were, as imagine 7th, 8th graders, pubescent, they're just going crazy. And at one point, their kids were getting so stir crazy, cabin fever. They were playing hide and seek in the middle of the school day. And so, it had its ups and downs, but the first year was tough, and the staff was great. They were very supportive for all the ups and downs. The second year was better. But for me to come back to here, it really came back to, well, my heart bleeds this because red and black, because I was born and raised in Fort Madison. I went to Fort Madison up until 5th grade, and then in 6th grade I went to Central Lee, and that's because my family, we moved out to Montrose. And so coming back here was kind of, it felt right. So as I was working in Burlington, my family and I, we lived in Fort Madison, and it was just all kind of culminating back to here, and it was a really good feeling.
I'm just going to throw out, it's nice to not be overly micromanaged.
Yeah.
Fort Madison's freaking awesome. We got some pretty crazy dudes that are on staff that walk the hallways. We got a lot of characters, don't we, Dee Dee?
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm not a character, by any stretch of the imagination, but all right. So, hey, I'm gonna jump over to the questions and the comments here real quick, and then I'm gonna dig into some more because I definitely want to pick on you pretty hard here tonight, Keith.
Yeah.
Thought we were gonna have a UFC fight, but it happens. Yeah. So Quentin Bryant says, you think Texas should have made it? No, I don't even think Alabama should have made it. Right?
I think Texas should have. I mean, I give them credit for taking that game out of the chutes week 1 with Ohio State.
Yeah.
If we're going to keep teams like Texas out of it for their losses, and a loss like that, college football is going to become really, really boring because now they're going to start padding their schedules, and we're not going to get to see those big games.
And that's really when Arch Manning was, kind of getting into his own. Go ahead, Keith.
Oh, I felt that way too. I mean, I was paying attention to the Iowa schedule, and then I can't remember which game it was. I think it was maybe Indiana. We just jumped up to number 11 out of nowhere, and I was like, "Wait!" And then it felt
Didn't you Google him? I Googled him.
Love having players for Iowa are opting out for the bowl game.
I agree, Owen.
I like that.
Yeah.
He's
valid
Kirk's,
point. Great point.
Kirk's freaking. He's and there. Speak of the devil. There's Colton Vermazen, amazing play-by-play guy. Texas probably should have got in. Yeah, I mean, but James Madison, man, James Madison's going to win this. Going to win the national title, Derek.
Oh yeah.
The Ohio State Buckeyes are going to win the national title.
Well, I do think that they're, if they get a chance to play Indiana again, it's going to be pretty crazy. Tatum Shellick says, "Can I shave Doherty's beard because Ohio State lost?" No. Looky here, Sir Isaac Newton, best 3 guys around FM. That's BS, Isaac. You are number 1.
You are the best, yes, sir.
Your wife says absolutely not. Hey, this is going crazy. This is good stuff. And then Colton said that man is growing a program in Indy. He's got him winning it all. Colton, I don't know whether or not you were in earlier, but it's going to be Oklahoma versus Miami and Boomer Sooner, baby. We're back. Tatum says Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got the best tackler since Joe Montana. I mean, Joe Montana.
There you go.
All right.
Did you guys hear about John Gruden's way around the CFP? He was talking about, well, I can't remember if you guys remember. It was like just to prove like they don't belong. You have gosh, what was it? Was it Texas playing somebody? It was a really unique way that he put it all together, and I was like, I like that. I actually do like that. The way
he's had a lot of really good points on how to fix college football.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, it needs to be fixed.
Well, it should be similar to how the NFL does it. You got divisions and conferences, and if you really want to do it right, then you just make the major conferences, the championship for that conference is part of the playoff system or something,
Or do you just do what the NCAA does? Because obviously bowls are dead, right? Bowls are dead. Teams don't want to go. Most of them, some of them will. And we'll talk about that Iowa Vanderbilt thing here in just a little bit. But at the end of the day, why not just put them all in then, and then schedule 10 games and just play it? What do you guys think about that?
Well, the hardest thing I think they have right now is every conference has their own set of rules. And they can dictate how they want to schedule their teams. They don't have to abide by Big 12 does similar what Big 10 does, and I think that's where we're running into big issues. But I don't think they'll ever get away from bowls just because they make money, and because it all comes back down to advertisement. And so I think they did the right step with the first time they set up the CFP, and then the second go around, adding 12 games, they did the right thing. But now if they expand it to 16, I don't know how they could do it, but I just don't see how any way around it. But they're just going to have to include a conference championship game as like a bowl game almost. It's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I mean, come on, guys. We had like the Chuck Banks Bacon Bean Burger freaking bowl last year. It's getting a little bit overwhelming.
They keep changing names almost every year.
Okay,
I hated all the bowl games for a long time, but man, I'm thankful that football, you can watch football almost every night of the week now, and as a football fan, that's exciting. But I think the college football playoff bracket, they've got to look at the games that some of these people are taking. And nothing against James Madison. I mean, they're winning, but who exactly are they playing? And
James Madison is Florida State from a year ago, or what? 2 years ago, was it? Yeah, it was 2 years ago, and Florida State just got absolutely freaking annihilated. Do you remember that?
But then their quarterback and what was it? Florida State's quarterback left, and a few other players left, like right before the playoff or something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah. Well, not to change the subject, but Sir Isaac has a question, and when Sir Isaac speaks, we as coaches listen. He does amazing work for us. So if you have to live by one saying for the rest of the time, or I'm guessing in your life, what would your quote be? That's a good question.
That is. While you're thinking, man, Isaac does this stuff to me all the time. I give him rides home after football practice. That dude is deep, man. He gets me thinking, and what a neat kid.
And and like when you're trying to be serious, here he is coming at and telling you, "Hey, man, it's out of focus." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, Isaac?" But Isaac kind of brings me back. Yeah, you are right, 100%. What's your quote, Keith? Come on, man.
Well, I did glance through your questions, and
I had no questions.
Well, one of those questions that brought me to kind of like what Isaac's asking, it goes to my philosophy. So it's aim small, miss small, which is basically focus on the process, focus on the details. Don't look at the outcome. Don't look at the end result, at the end of the season. Just focus on here right now and focus on each rep. I think that's the only way that you're going to win. And so in track, you can do that. You could do that every single day because that's the point. Track is about breaking down what seems like the most simplest skill in the world that anybody can do. And then we're saying we're walking right up to you and we're saying, you ain't doing it right. And it's like, what are you talking about? Putting one foot in front of the other. That's not hard. And it's like, you're still not doing it right. And we're here to correct you. We'll film you, but we'll show you how to do it better. And that's one thing I love about the sport. I love it so much. But anytime somebody asks me, or congratulates me, oh, wow, good job, coach. You guys got a kid to state, or you won the track meet. And I'm like, I just put names on a paper. And I'm like, it's not about that in my head. Like for them, it might be. And I give them high fives, like congratulate them, we celebrate, but for me, it's it's if what's rewarding is seeing what we do on the track during practices, and I see it happen at a meet, and I see success, and it could be, and my definition of success is not a first place. It's holy crap, they improved their time. They improved by 0.2 seconds. And I'm just like, and I'm talking about we're talking right after the race, like, what did you do different? What did you feel? And we're talking about maybe block starts, and we're like, what'd you do differently there? Well, I made sure I push off both feet. And I was like, you were focused on that, right? And that was like everything that your mind was focused on. It wasn't the gun. It wasn't the guy next to you. And I'm like, yeah. That's what I was focused on. Like, awesome. That's success.
All right. So, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to jump in. Are you ready for my quote? Is that okay? And Isaac's probably rolling his eyes, but this is actually a powerful quote. Okay. Since I had my stroke, I forget stuff. So I hope I don't screw this up. Okay. So, I hope everybody succeeds, and I'm in competition with no one but myself. Pretty powerful,
Solid.
right?
Yeah.
Solid.
It's better than, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Derek, do you have one that you do? You have many Derek-isms.
I mean, if we're talking about how we're going to live, I full-heartedly believe effort, attitude, and toughness, man. Just that's how I want to live my life. So with effort, attitude, and toughness.
Absolutely. So I've got a couple more comments here. It doesn't look like we have any more questions, but Colton says Saban is going to save us all. I think so. I think you let Saban be the commissioner of college football. Okay. You guys can jump in at any point, but Owen Huffman, I think we need to get away from conference championship games. The only thing it does is penalize good teams for losing an extra game. I don't think Alabama looked very good at all. Am I wrong?
I mean, they had moments, but
oh crap!
we lost Keith.
Yeah, Keith will be back. I'm sure he's probably freaking out right now.
I agree with you, Owen. Or at least they've got to look at, does that affect your chances of making the playoffs? And I mean, that's been kind of the conversation over the last week when you've got Indiana, Ohio State. I mean, the loser was obviously going to get in. I mean, 1 and 2, but that doesn't happen very often. Now, with Notre Dame not being in a conference, everybody kept saying that was going to come back and bite them. And it did. Should it have? I don't think so, because I think that they're one of the top teams. I mean, I think it's hard to argue that they're not when you're unbiased. Now, Patrick Lamb will say that they're not just because he hates Notre Dame, but they're a great football program.
Where do they end up in the SEC, or where do they end up in, let's say, the Big Ten? Do you think top 4?
Yeah, I do believe top 4 in the Big Ten. I was hoping that they would be in the Big Ten. I know that there was rumors on that a while ago. I listened to their AD talk before all of the stuff came out. This was actually Friday before the games, and he said, we've got to eat what we kill without being in a conference. And I kind of like that saying, but I mean, that's the gamble, right? If you're not in a conference, then, and I get it, they get a lot of financial benefits from not being in a conference, but what is the goal for these guys? Is it finances, or is it winning national titles? Or, I mean, they're the ones that have to answer that. And sometimes you live by the sword, die by the sword.
100%. We're waiting on Keith. His computer had to reboot, so he's coming back. Aurelio says Chucky the goat. Okay. All right. Never say that again. Quentin Ross, Believe in the me that believes in you. That's a good quote.
Yes, sir.
Isaac had a good one. Small things matter. Focus on the process over outcome. He's listening to the coach Derek Doherty, by the way. Now Derek's in the middle. So Keith, we're going over comments here real quick. Here's another one from Colton. This is a good question. How do you balance the emotions of a season or even a meet to compose the athletes to succeed? Great question. It's for you, Helling. Come on, man.
So how do you balance?
Let me put it back up there.
Yeah, let's put it back up there. Emotions of the season, or even
we'll all answer this one.
Okay. So, right, yeah. The one thing in most of the eyes of the athlete is when they start to see that they're not succeeding. And a lot of them, or most of them, are seeing just looking at their time. That's all they're looking at. And one thing that's really difficult is that I try to pull a lot of the beginners, newbies, or maybe young bloods, you could say, the freshmen, sophomores, and I try to pull them aside and try to get them to understand, we're still building. And when you don't see your time improve dramatically, or just your height of jump or throw, I try to get them to really try to focus on that we're really breaking your body down, and we're trying to throw away all the bad habits, the bad form technique that you've developed over the years, and we're trying to correct it. And so that sometimes can take a few months, weeks, and for others, and it could take a longer time. It could take a whole season. And so, there's the emotions go up and down, but it's really subjective. Like it's a really difficult question, just because there's so many kids that have different things going on, and you have to tackle them one by one. You can't have the same approach, the same strategy to every single one. But that's a big one that I do fall to, that's where I see a lot in most kids, is I have to get them to understand this is going to take time, and you can't expect it to happen right now.
Did you guys know that there's one word that will drop 45% of your testosterone, and it is a word that is not allowed in a Navy SEAL training? Do you know what that word is?
Can't.
Try. Yeah. It's crazy when you look at that. Derek, do you want to jump on that one, or do you want to move on?
No, I mean, yeah, that's a huge that's a huge fight for all coaches, right? Like, especially when things aren't going well, the emotion side of things in a culture that focuses strictly on winning, or a society, I guess, that the wins are the big deal. Staying on the process, just always focusing on the process, always focusing on how you're competing. Had a really good conversation with one of our athletes Friday night. Didn't win a wrestling match. Okay, cool. How did you compete? How was your effort? How was your attitude? How was your toughness? And got a smile. Like, nobody likes to lose. Like, nobody signs up to lose ever. I don't care. But how you go about competing, I think, is a very special thing. And when you get people to buy into that, it's a lot of fun. But it's a hard thing to get people to buy into, because they want instant success. They want the newspaper clippings that say that they won. It's not always going to happen that way. And we're fighting through that on the football program right now, but we've got a great bunch of kids that understand the process. Majority of them are buying in, and our time will come. And it's awesome when you get a group that knows that and believes that.
And you kind of to chime in on the football, all of our kids got to play up this year.
Yeah.
They all had just great reps. And if you look at the fresh soft group that was going against juniors, so dude, we're coming. I'll just throw that out there right away. Isaac says, Quentin, okay, I fully agree with it. I believe, and a lot of athletes think about who does not believe in them instead of people that stand by them. I'll tell you what, there's not a damn good coach in America that will not stand behind his athletes. I'm just throwing that out there. And, something to throw in there too, Coach Hines. Coach Doherty and I had an opportunity to have Coach Hines on the show a couple years back. Great guy. And you know what? Here's the deal. Everybody bees and moans. See, I won't cuss tonight, right? I'll be good. Everybody gripes and moans about, oh my God, he's got favorites. Well, you're damn right we got favorites. Become one of them.
That was my favorite part of the James Franklin interview at Virginia Tech, and he said, "You're right. I have favorites: high producers, low maintenance." Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Saban said it best, right? High achievers don't like low achievers, and you know what I mean, and vice versa. It's just the recipe for success in all things. Now, we're about we still got about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes if you guys want to roll it that long. I've got a lot of stuff that I can talk about, and I know that if you've ever sat down with Keith and you ever need him to explain something that's going to take 5 minutes, it takes 15 anyway. Come on, Dee, you're supposed to laugh, dude. Come on, man.
Every day, man. PE meetings, baby.
Yeah. Oh God,
he's a thorough guy.
They said we weren't professional, Patrick. So why are we having professional development? No. Anyway, Keith Helling, you got a track season that's coming up. Dee, he's working hard with those guys in that weight room. Okay, and I know that you're jumping in. And if you look at that summer collaboration, here's an important thing, Coach. How do we get more coaches involved in summer collaboration that took place last year? Because, you had a lot of coaches in there, on a daily basis.
That's
for you? Sorry. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a worker. I just kind of put my nose to the grindstone. And one thing that I said at one of our coaches meetings, the whole school coaches meetings, is I probably need to do a better job of being inviting. But I love it when we get coaches in there and help out. And I know that weight room is scary for a lot of coaches because during their athletic careers, the weight room wasn't really a thing for a lot of places. Now, weight room is vital to even be relevant, I feel. It used to be an edge. It's not an edge anymore. It's a necessity. And I don't need coaches in there to coach necessarily. I need them in there building relationships, high-fiving. They don't need to teach a squat. That's my job. But just being in there and building relationships with athletes, and nothing says, hey, I believe in what we're doing, like presence. And so we've got a lot of great coaches that say, hey, man, I trust you 100%. And I try to be open to the coaches. Hey, this is what training block we're on. This is what we're doing. I had this conversation with my brother the other day. I called him and said, hey, just so you know, this is where we're at in our training for your girls. And he was like, yeah, cool. I trust you. Do whatever you want. It's not what I'm looking for. He does. He trusts me 100%. We talk shop a lot, but nothing says that a coach believes in the strength and conditioning world like they're showing up and being in there, I think.
100%, shout out to Kelly. Kelly was there about all summer,
She's awesome.
Yeah. You just had a lot of them. So, Keith, answer your question that I asked you.
What was the question you asked me?
All right. So, do all coaches have ADHD? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, Coach. Let's talk about the off season. Let's talk about your returning athletes and how excited you are not only to watch them compete in basketball or wrestling, but also to fire up that track program for this spring.
So we've lost a lot of seniors, and so this year we're going to have about 4 seniors return, maybe close to 5, and then the junior class, they do have quite a few. We got Hunter Smurt at high jump, Elijah Brooks at shot put, Marshall Heitman at shot put and disc, and then Rainer Johnson, Lucius Zimmerman at hurdles, and there's probably a few more I'm missing. And then I know we got some sophomores and freshmen, but some guys I'm really looking forward to see how much they've improved since last year. From the sprints standpoint, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing our hurdlers and sprinters. That's the two I'm really looking forward to.
You going to have Cal Hennings doing the hurdles this year?
Oh yeah. He doesn't know it yet, but
he's going out for tennis too. Did you hear about that?
Okay. Yeah. And probably golf. I think he was talking about.
No,
golf.
He's playing tennis, Keith. We're gonna share him.
Well, we could share 3 sports.
Okay.
He can do it all. He can do it all. But no, I know that we got quite a few guys coming back, and I'm really hoping that I can give more opportunities for them to develop their skills. And so I'm looking at a lot of different possibilities, but I don't have some of them set in stone yet. But yeah, it's coming along. We do have our 4x8, 3 of them coming back. And I think with a couple of other guys, a part of the team, they could really help us out there. And we'll see if we can qualify in the 4x8 again. That would be fantastic. But I think all 3 of those guys will qualify in their individual events. So I'm not afraid of that happening.
Well, you better be qualifying in every freaking event, Keith.
Well, that's the plan. Yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
We did pretty good last year. I mean, we got, oh gosh, we had quite a few. And on the field event side, we had a long jumper, high jumper, 2 shot putters, a discus thrower. And then sprint wise, we had, I don't think we had any sprinters go last year. Unfortunately, Julian got hurt. And then our 4x8, they made it, got 6th place. And then, and this just kind of giving you guys a little insight on like coach's mind and in the realm of track. And when you set up a relay, we ran the same order of the relay all season last year for our 4x8. And we were ranked number 1 in 3A. We get to state and we run the event. We're doing very well. And we almost tied our PR time, which is extremely hard to do in one season, to hit 8-minute flat 3 weeks before a state and then hit another 8-minute flat. We hit 8:01. And I'm looking at it, and I looked at the other teams that raced. There was the 5 other teams that placed ahead of us. 4 of them had a third leg, which is their third runner, that ran an unbelievable time. An 800 time that's really, really good is 2 minutes. Anywhere around there or under is pretty good.
I was thinking 35 minutes.
No. And then their third leg runner, there was about 4 of those teams had a third leg runner run a minute 54, minute 55, which I looked ahead of schedule, way ahead. And I was looking at all these teams, and I looked at every single runner, and I made sure to see what was their splits like, what was their open 800 time like, and all their other races throughout the season. And I felt very confident the way going in, but they just stepped it up at state, and their third leg runner just annihilated us. And it was nothing against our guys. Our guys did phenomenal. They did a great job. It's just, that's what happened. But then afterwards, this is where my head was too busy, because I felt like it was all on me. It was on me. So I kept sitting there thinking, if I would have switched things up, throughout the season, if I would have tested our guys, if I would have said, hey, what if I moved our third leg to our first runner and our first runner to our third leg? What would that have done? Because our third leg runner is our miler. He's really good at pacing, but he needs to push. He needs a push. And so when he is leading the pack or he's with a pack, he does excellent. He does very, very good. But then when he's trailing and he's behind 30, 40 meters, it's hard for him to push because he's so good at pacing. Our first leg runner who graduated, he was phenomenal at getting his ass out in front, and then he held it. But then if he had to chase somebody down, he had that extra kick. He could do it. And then I just kept sitting there thinking, oh, man, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have done this. But, in the end, we did a great job. We got 6, but we did a great job almost hitting our PR again. And, I kept sitting there thinking about that over and over and over and over for weeks and weeks. And so it's just one of those things that, you kind of hold it to your heart and you're like, I'm going to make sure I don't screw that up again.
You didn't screw it up, man. And I just want to, I know we've had our conversations in private, but to publicly throw it out there, I think this is what makes you a great coach and a really special person is you try to take the ownership of it. Obviously you did all the right things. And when the recipe's not bad, why screw up, or why screw with it? And, I love that you take it so personal because I think you are cut from the same cloth on that, and that's what makes you a great coach, man. So it's easy to say don't let it eat at you, but I know it does. But again, that's what makes you different than a lot of other coaches.
Yeah, Keith, because I would have had Cal run third, the third leg. No, I'm just messing. Hey, we're nearing the end here. I do want to throw out what Dog Pound's going to be doing throughout the week this week. Tuesday night, there's a big quad, and it's going to be in the auxiliary gym. Dog Pound Radio will be there for that quad. Thursday, we're going to travel and give you some women's wrestling up in Burlington. Because Go Pitch TV will be covering our boys in the Centerville duel, and then then we kind of slow down a little bit. But I'm here to tell you, Coach Doherty. I shared something earlier, and I wanted to make sure that I wanted to make sure you understood this right away. 3 years ago, I made a post yesterday. Because it was a 3-year anniversary. 3 years ago, I had a good friend of mine that talked me off a ledge, Derek Doherty, and I want to appreciate you. I want you to know that, dude, you saved my friggin' life, and I know I say it a lot, but you're pretty damn special. Shout out to Stephanie Banks. She allows me to go and be a kind of a media personality, and the coaches' wives. Let's give shout outs to our families right now. Keith,
literally.
Come on, man.
Alicia, I love you. Thank you so much for letting me do this.
Pretty
and
please.
God, I don't know what I'd do without you.
Yeah, agreed, man. I say it every year at the banquet. Real MVPs are the wives and the kids that allow us to do what we do, and it's not easy to live with because I think us three are extremely passionate, and my other coaches on my staff, and I know the coaches on Keith's staff as well. My wife just had surgery and trying to balance everything. She's a saint, man. She puts up with a lot and allows me to chase my passion, and I cannot thank her enough for that.
And we're a part of a pretty special village. That's it, Coach Show number 1. Hopefully next week, Ben, if you're listening, say, pretty please, can I come out and play on a Sunday night? We are out.